The man who slept with my wife stood in my driveway, looked me dead in the eye, and called me a loser. He said I was nothing, a nobody. He told me my wife deserved better, and that better was him. He was wearing a $1,000 suit. He drove a brand new BMW. He had a corner office at the biggest accounting firm in our city. He thought he was untouchable. He had no idea what was coming. Let me rewind. My name doesn't matter. What matters is that for 14 years, I gave everything to my marriage. I worked double shifts as an IT systems administrator so my wife, Karen, could stay home with our 2 kids, Emma and Jake. I wasn't flashy. I drove a 10-year-old truck. I packed my own lunches. I coached my son's little league team every Saturday morning. I thought we were happy. Turns out, I was the only one who thought that. The signs were there, but I was too tired to notice. Late nights out with friends, new clothes, a new perfume I didn't buy. Her phone always face down on the counter. Then one evening, I came home early from work because the server migration finished ahead of schedule. I walked through the front door and heard laughter coming from upstairs. Deep laughter. A man's laughter. I didn't storm upstairs. I didn't scream. I just stood at the bottom of the staircase, completely frozen, listening to my entire world collapse above me. When they finally came downstairs, I was sitting at the kitchen table. His name was Derek Lawson. He was a senior partner at one of the top accounting firms in the city. Tall, confident, arrogant. He didn't even look embarrassed. He looked at me like I was an inconvenience, like I was a speed bump in his day. And that's when he said it. He leaned against my kitchen counter, and said, "Look, man, no hard feelings. But she upgraded. You're a loser who fixes computers. I'm a partner at Lawson and Reed. She made her choice." Karen didn't defend me. She just stood behind him with her arms crossed, like he was her bodyguard. That image burned into my brain forever. Most men would have exploded, thrown punches, made a scene. But I'm not most men. My dad taught me something when I was a kid. He said, "Son, never fight angry, fight smart, and make sure you only have to fight once." So I went quiet. I moved into the guest room that night. I told Karen we'd discuss everything calmly. She probably thought I was weak. Derek definitely thought I was weak. Good. Let them think that. Over the next 3 weeks, I became a ghost in my own house. I woke up, went to work, came home, played with my kids, and locked myself in the guest room. But behind that closed door, I was busy. Very busy. See, here's what Derek didn't know about me. I wasn't just some guy who fixes computers. I was a senior IT systems administrator with 15 years of experience in network security and data compliance. I understood systems, not just computer systems, but how organizations work, how regulations function, how one loose thread can unravel an entire empire. And Derek had a lot of loose threads. It started with a conversation I overheard. Karen was on the phone with Derek one night, and she had it on speaker, thinking I was asleep. Derek was bragging about how he'd been restructuring client accounts to boost the firm's quarterly numbers. He laughed about it. He called his clients cash cows who don't read their own statements. That phrase echoed in my head. Cash cows who don't read their own statements. I knew exactly what that meant. Now, I want to be clear. I didn't do anything illegal. Everything I did was within my rights and publicly available information. But I was thorough. Surgically thorough. First, I filed for divorce. I hired the most aggressive family lawyer in the county, a woman named Rita Vasquez, who had a reputation for dismantling cheating spouses in court. I gave her everything: screenshots, phone records, timestamps. But that was just the personal side. The real project was Derek. I started digging into Lawson and Reed's public filings. As an IT professional, I knew where to look. Annual reports, state licensing board records, SEC filings for their larger clients. I cross-referenced everything. I spent nights reading through financial regulations that would put most people to sleep. But I wasn't most people. I was a man with a mission, and I found it. Buried in the details, there was a pattern. Client funds being moved between accounts in ways that didn't match standard accounting practices. Billing discrepancies. Phantom service charges. It wasn't sophisticated fraud. It was sloppy, arrogant fraud. The kind of fraud committed by a man who thinks he's too important to get caught. I compiled everything into a detailed report. 57 pages, charts, timelines, references to specific regulatory codes that were being violated. I formatted it like a professional audit because, well, I'm a professional. Then I sent it to 3 places: the State Board of Accountancy, the SEC's whistleblower tip line, and the managing partners at Lawson and Reed, the ones above Derek. And then I waited. The dominoes started falling within 6 weeks. First, the State Board launched a formal investigation into Derek's CPA license. He was suspended pending review. No license means no practice. No practice means no partnership. Then the SEC opened an inquiry into the firm's client accounts. Lawson and Reed went into full damage control mode. The managing partners, the people whose names were actually on the building, were furious. They didn't just fire Derek. They publicly distanced themselves from him. They issued a statement calling his actions unauthorized and in direct violation of the firm's ethical standards. Derek went from corner office to unemployed in less than 2 months. But it didn't stop there. When the investigation widened, 3 of his former clients filed civil lawsuits against him personally. The total damages? Over $2 million. His BMW got repossessed. He had to sell his condo. The man who called me a loser in my own kitchen was now borrowing money from his parents to pay his legal fees. Meanwhile, my divorce was going beautifully. Rita Vasquez was everything her reputation promised. With documented proof of Karen's affair, and Derek's financial implosion making him a liability rather than an asset, the judge ruled
Order in
heavily
the court.
in my favor.
The prosecution will
I
proceed.
got primary custody of
Yes,
Emma
Your
and
Honor.
Jake.
Understood, Your
I
Honor.
kept the house. Karen got a wake-up call. The final cherry on top? Derek's accounting license was permanently revoked 8 months later. His career, the thing he built his entire identity around, the thing he used to belittle me, was gone. Permanently. Last I heard, Derek was working as a bookkeeper at a small auto repair shop 2 towns over. No corner office, no BMW, no $1,000 suit. Just a desk in the back of a garage, doing the books for oil changes and brake jobs. Karen tried to come back. She showed up at the house 6 months after the divorce was finalized, crying, saying she made a mistake. I looked at her standing on the porch, the same porch where I used to sit with her on summer evenings, and I felt nothing. Not anger, not satisfaction, just nothing. I told her, "You made your choice. I made mine." Then I closed the door. My kids are thriving. Emma made the honor roll last semester. Jake's little league team made it to the regional finals. I'm dating someone new, a woman who actually respects me. Life isn't perfect, but it's mine. And I built it back from the ground up. Derek called me a loser. He thought because I was quiet, I was weak. He confused patience for surrender. He didn't realize that the quiet ones are the most dangerous, because we don't waste energy on rage. We channel it into results. If you're going through something like this, remember, don't fight angry. Fight smart. And make sure you only have to fight once. If this story hit you, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We post stories like this every single week. Stories of dads who fought back and won. Drop a comment below and tell me, what would you have done?